So what is hot deployment? We can think of hot deployment as the redeployment of change classes. So you deploy a class, and then somebody comes along and changes the code, maybe to do a bug fix. You don't want to have to reload the entire application to deploy that particular class. So we have a mechanism whereby we can hot deploy certain pieces of code. It works in a similar way to side-by-side deployment, where in that case, we are loading two classes from different directories or different jar files. But now, rather than thinking of changes in terms of location, we can think of changes over time and update things as time passes. Hot deployment, for example, lets a server stay up. So when we have a 24/7 need, we have a server that has to run all the time. We can't bring that server down. Hot deployment leaves us keep that server running while making changes, say, during production. And using this technique, as long as we code in a certain way, then we can replace our code piecemeal. So we don't need to replace the entire application. So in a hot deployment scenario, the code is similar to a side-by-side scenario. So here we create a new URL class loader. We call class.forename and load that class using a specific loader. But later on in time, let's say Friday rather than Monday, we could do the same thing. So we can create a new URL class loader based on some custom URL, maybe the same URL that we had before, so the same location. But in that location, we've now added updated copies of our classes, updated copies of our jar files. We then call class.forename on the same class in the same location, but at a different point in time. And now the Monday class that we loaded previously is not the same as the Friday class that we load now. So to show hot deployment in action, we'll write a client application that will make calls against a server. And the server will be very simple. It'll be the quote server we've used in previous modules. So that will be a class that implements an interface with a getQuote method. The client can load up that class and call getQuote and print out the quote. We'll load the client code using the application class loader, but we'll load the server code using our own class loader. That means that we can force the client to reload the server code at any time by creating a new class loader and reloading the server classes. To ensure we keep the separation of the classes, we'll build our server code, so the server input.java, into a server class directory. And we'll build the client code, the client, and the server interface definition into the classes folder. So we'll point the application class path at the classes folder, and then our own application will create a class loader that references the server class folder, and we'll load the server classes from there. And that will give us some control over when and how we load those server classes. When I build the client, we output the classes to this build directory, and the build directory is simply classes. When I build the server, we output the classes to the server class directory, and the server class directory is server class. So server class here for the server classes, and the client classes go into the classes directory here.